Do you get treated like a tech bro in America? Like,
all the time. They won't say tech immediately. They'll be like, "Are you in?" They'll wait for it. Like, they wanted to complain. I'm like, no, no, I'm not
yeah,
in tech.
I get that a lot too. Like they want you to like finish the racist thought in their head, right?
Exactly, exactly, right?
This is Vikram Balaji
And I'm Deepu Dileepan. Welcome to our podcast.
talking BS.
So, what plans for the weekend?
Oh, I'm cooking biryani tomorrow.
What biryani?
Chicken biryani tomorrow.
Chicken. Wow. Okay, so
Yes.
what's Deepu's recipe? Please tell. I want to know.
It's Hyderabadi style chicken biryani. Step one should be completed yesterday, which I already did. So you buy
What
the
is step
chicken,
one?
you marinate the chicken, cut it up into cubes or like de-skin it. Add yogurt and then a bunch of different spices: red chili, ginger, lemon, cardamom, some cumin, a little bit of turmeric.
And does
All
it come
that.
out well?
We'll see tomorrow.
What do you mean we'll see? Have you done this before? Or is this the first
I
time?
have, I have. I've done it before, but it was like more than a year ago.
Uh,
It came out well.
Came out well.
So
Like
yeah,
what do you get in the proper Indian restaurants? I mean, when I say
exactly
Indian
like the
restaurants, I mean
restaurant.
back in India, no, not the shitty
Absolutely,
ones here.
exactly like the restaurant. Even I was stunned. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, if you
It was
can.
so good that I was angry. I was like, it's so easy to make, and they could never make it at home for 20 years.
It is tough. I heard biryani is not an easy one to get. Or maybe it was beginners like luck. I mean, saying fucking so tired.
Yeah, sometimes. So you marinate it overnight, and then the next day you half cook it, and then you put rice on top of it, and then water, and then you cook both together. So,
So you're doing the professional way because I know a lot of Indian restaurants in Chicago. They'll cook separately and then mix it, so it'll be
oh,
horrible.
dude. They basically have a gravy, and then they add rice into it. It's like basically putting gravy and rice, and then that's biryani.
But anyway, I don't eat meat, so I eat probably egg biryani and veg biryani. So I know that's not counted as biryani for most people.
Egg is
So.
okay. Veg is no. Should be
Mm.
sent to a death camp.
And yeah, it's nice to see those two boiled eggs in the middle of the biryani. And like,
Gotta
I
have
can
that
eat
egg.
eggs with anything and everything. Most easiest thing, and it's damn tasty as well.
True.
What are you gonna have the biryani with? Like what, raita, or like you're making like a
Raita.
gravy or
Yeah.
raita?
Yeah, it's a lot of work, so I'm going easy on the gravy for now. Yeah, I'll just have raita or I'll just order raita from an Indian restaurant.
And have you cooked biryani for other people?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The first time I did it was for Christmas. I invited a girl over who I was briefly seeing back then.
You talk normally. You don't do. It was going fine. I was talking normally. Yeah, I'm cooking biryani recipe. Then like I called a girl. I was seeing.
Yeah, it's always fun to cook something new with someone. It gives you a bit more motivation to do it, and you also feel good when it turns out well. Otherwise, it's like even if you made the best dish, it's like you're eating alone, nobody to watch. Like it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, I hear you. It's like doing your best jokes and there is no one in the audience or the audience doesn't understand English, right?
Exactly.
Did she say she wanted biryani or did you surprise her?
I wanted the biryani.
So if you want, just come. Did she like it?
Yeah, a little bit. It was a bit spicy for her, but
Of course.
it's the effort that counts,
Was she
That for
white?
women, yeah, yeah. For women, it's the effort that counts.
The size and the taste doesn't matter, I suppose.
Exactly. But it was good. So she basically ate a little, and then I ate the rest for the next 3 days,
But yeah,
which
that's
was
why you
so
always
good.
give it with yogurt, right? So it neutralizes the spice. So has anyone ever explicitly made a racist comment or remark against you?
You mean today or this week or this month? I had to pick.
Okay, let's
uh,
the whole
two
of the
days.
4.5 years, 2 days back.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like explicitly racist or it's just ignorance. I feel like
Ah,
Europeans, right? So this is my theory. Europeans are racist by nature. It's the system that prevents racism from affecting you. Whereas in the US, people are nice by nature as individuals, but it's the system that fucks everybody over.
interesting. Okay.
When I first heard about like systemic racism, I never understood it. Then after living in Europe, now I understand because in Europe the system can't fuck you, but people will.
So what happened 2 days back?
Go back to your
Ah,
country.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, that is basically comment in every video that I put out, standard. Why don't you talk about the poverty and people pissing on the street and all the garbage in India? Like anything that I say mildly critical about Luxembourg, they immediately talk about, oh, you know how dirty people are in Bombay. Just random comments.
And that's the good thing about the US. You can just keep criticizing the US. They're not going to say shit. They're like, yeah, it's true.
Anything I say that's critical about the country or the policies, they feel like, oh, what about your country? Go back to your country. I'm like, I'll make fun of India as well, but I live in Luxembourg now, so I'm making fun of Luxembourg, right?
Like that's the whole point of having the privilege is to make fun of anything and everything, and it should be okay.
True.
It's the comedic privilege, I guess.
Luxembourg is a country, they're very insecure. Like if somebody trashes Chicago or New York as cities, right? Only losers live there. Nobody's going to get super offended because the city speaks for itself. The place speaks for itself. You don't have to come out and defend and say, hey, you know, Chicago is so cool. We have like 23 nightclubs and it has a vibrant like nightlife. No, you don't have to say that. The city speaks for itself. Whereas Luxembourg, it's like they have to say something. Otherwise, the city is like, yeah, I agree with you. They're just crickets.
Oh, it's like as if you're saying that people are going to read your, I mean, see your video and be like, I was trying to move to Luxembourg. Now I'm not going to move. You know?
No, people who already live there, it's almost like they're being reminded of things they don't want to be reminded of.
So
It's
this is
that
when you get your
insecurity.
racist comments and stuff.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Anything I say, anything, hey, today in Luxembourg, the sun is not shining, it's cloudy. They're like, go back to India, bloody, if you don't like the weather.
Ah, shit. Yeah, even for me, I've never got any explicit racist comments. For me, it was more ignorance. In one of my shows, I think I asked someone a question. I was not even making fun of it. And
Right.
the show was going well. Everyone was laughing. And suddenly this guy, all I asked was a question. And he was like, oh, is that supposed to be English? I was like, fuck, where did that come from? And
Right.
and he's trying to be a comedian as well. So, and it was more ignorance than being racist. And he apologized after the show, so it was okay. But I was caught off guard for that comment because I've not got a comment like that before.
Have you
Yeah,
been complimented on your English?
yes, a lot. Everyone has been, oh, how can you speak English so well? First of all, I don't think I speak English really well. So that's like ignorance at a different level. But they
Yeah.
think that because we are from India, they don't, we don't speak English. Otherwise, I've experienced more subtle racism than anything else because obviously I didn't grow up here, right? I feel like people who grow up here in schools and colleges, they experience more. For me, it's like when I go to one like a diner, probably in like a deep interior of a rich state, they'll take 15 minutes to come and take my order, whereas everyone else they'll go take the order.
That is classic. That's basically every restaurant in Europe.
Really?
Yeah, and this is the problem. You can't even like call it racism because here they'll quickly dismiss it as the French way of serving people.
And I'm always giving the benefit of doubt. Maybe it is true.
It's not true. I figured that out because when I go with white friends, excellent service.
And yeah, I mean, I fucked them over with the tips. I didn't give them any tip. I was like, I mean, I don't know whether you're
Right.
racist or not, but service was horrible. After 15 minutes, someone came and said, okay, someone will come and take your order. I'm like, okay. And then the old couple next to me, they came, they took the order, they were eating. I'm like, okay.
I feel like if I were in your situation, I would just overcompensate by leaving like a hefty tip. Like I'll give them a 40% tip just to like make a statement. You know what I mean?
No. I used to do that, but I'm like, wait, that is like I'm encouraging racism. Hell no. I'm like, no.
Or maybe there were like 3 Indians who came before you and none of them left a tip. So they were like, fuck the Indian guy, they never tip. So let's go 15 minutes late.
But that's exactly racism, right? Because of 3 Indians, you're like, all Indians are not going to do well.
Exactly. Thanks for explaining. I'm just trying to like. No, do you get treated like a tech bro in America? Like they see an Indian guy, IT, works for Google, Amazon. Do you feel like that's how you're treated?
Yep,
and not
yep.
like the cool up and coming comedian that you are?
All the time. And when I like, like, so are you in tech? Is your day job in tech? They won't say tech immediately. They'll be like, are you in they'll wait for it, like, they wanted to complain. I was like, no, I'm not in tech.
I get that a lot too. Like they want you to like finish the racist thought in their head.
Exactly, right? They don't want them to be, making that comment. I think in one of my shows, the entire audio system failed, and then the 2 white guys were trying to fix it when I was up on stage, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. 2 white guys are trying to fix the tech. And what I like about the crowd was nobody was looking at me when they were like, does anyone know how to fix this mic, so it was nice.
Maybe that's the part of America where they expect you to fix the gas issue, not the mic issue. It depends which where you
True,
are,
true. I
right?
mean, and I don't know what. There are so many Indians running gas stations, running subways. If not tech, I've got a lot of times I'm at the Uber driver. Once I had my car parked and I'm like walking. This white girl comes up to me and, "Are you my Uber driver?" I'm like, "Bitch, I don't even have a car. What the hell are you saying?"
I thought this is like a comedian's routine. It actually happened to you?
Yeah, yeah, it happens all the time. Like,
Wait, you're
and
walking, you're not even in your car, and she's like, "Are you my ride?"
I'm serious. Like I was walking towards my car, and there is no way she could have known that that was my car because my car was somewhere else. I was walking. She's like, "Are you my Uber driver?" I'm like, "Bitch, what are you saying?" Like, yeah, yeah, it happens all the time. And a lot of times,
Uh,
if I'm in the car, I mean that I understand. Okay, fine. A lot of Indians are Uber drivers. I don't drive a
mhm.
fancy car. Drive a
Are
Corolla.
they though? Are they though? Are Indians Uber drivers, or are they Bangladeshi and Pakistani?
When I say Indians, I mean obviously it's a mix of Desi
See, that's the
people.
problem. I think we should educate white people, not about like not being racist, but be racist towards the right people.
Okay, I didn't say anything. Deepu was saying the right people, but anyway, I don't mind. Pakistan, Bangladeshis, Indians. They're all Indians. Actually, India was one country, so I'm okay with
True, true,
them
true.
referring. But yeah, you're right. Profile all of us as Indians, and
I'm not Bangladeshi, bitch. What are you telling?
no, I smiled and I said, "No, I'm not a Uber driver." And she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." I think she was really drunk, and
Where was
I'm very
this?
chill. I don't play the victim game and all this. I'm like,
Chicago?
"Yeah, what's the big deal?" She thought I'm a Uber.
Was this in Chicago?
Yeah, Chicago, Chicago.
Ah, okay, okay. I thought somewhere when you're on the road.
No, no, on the road, they don't. No, nobody comes up to me and talks to me. So I do a lot of shows in some rural places in the red states. You can get that vibe. They'll be looking at you like that. Like it's like you're telling the kid, "Look, look." It's like as if I'm like in the zoo or something. They're like, "Look, look, new exhibit." This is like a you won't see this exhibit otherwise.
Wow. Are you like the only brown guy in town or something like that?
In
Wow. I
fact,
thought Indians are everywhere, you know?
yeah, I mean there would be, but yeah, there are some places where it's extremely white and you won't see even a black person for that matter.
And
And I'm sure
how
Europe is also like that, right? In certain cities where it's like extremely white, no?
yeah, yeah, pretty much, pretty much. Yeah. The whole being ignored and waiting at the bar and restaurant. I feel like it's just become second nature that I show up and I'm already ready, mentally prepared to be ignored for a while, that it doesn't bother me anymore.
So you're
I don't
keeping
know
the
if that's
bar
a good thing.
low, right?
Super low. It's like sometimes I get surprised when I show up and they turn their attention to me within like under a minute. Hey, you just caught me off guard, like coming on too strong, right? Like give me 5 minutes or 7 minutes to like it's like going to a waiting room. Mentally you're prepared to sit down and wait for a few minutes. When the
Hmm.
doctor calls you immediately, you feel like, oh shit, whoa. Because you have that mind of waiting. If you're just standing, you're like, oh, I can't wait to be called in.
And
So
also I feel like as Indians growing up, we are used to a lot of inconvenience, and very early in our life we learn to like adjust to so many things. I don't know about you, but in my house we never used to get water, right? The lorry used to come, so we had to go catch water every
yeah, yeah.
once a week, alternate days, keep that water, store that water
Wash
time,
your
right?
ass with that water, and if something's left, to use it for drinking the next day, the whole thing. Yeah.
Exactly. And even if you want hot water, right? You put it in the stove and then you go do it. And then, yeah,
I
yeah.
really miss like the rod that you put into the water bucket for
Yeah,
like
the,
to
the
heat it up in
steaming
the morning.
immersion rod.
Immersion rod,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
miss it so much because somehow that gave me a sense of fulfillment, something that I was doing productive in life. By the time you put the immersion rod, it's 10 minutes it takes for the water to heat up. You brush your teeth or you do something else. You feel like you're being productive, but now it's like you go into the shower and hot water is boom, ready, right? I somehow feel like, man, I wasn't productive in the morning, like doing something. I couldn't multitask while I was
Exactly,
waiting for the water.
exactly. Yeah, it was either that or I'll have to go to the well and I'll sometimes have to get water, but not all that. Well was not bad. I'm making it sound like I was living
Shit.
in a
You,
crazy place, but well was not that bad. Used that whatever, what is it called? Pulley and all that and got the water out
damn,
of,
you must have
yeah.
grown up with my grandfather. Cool, man.
But I remember the lorry used to come and with my housekeeper, I'll be standing outside catching water. But
Chasing the
after
lorry, that's an art, dude.
exactly, exactly.
When the lorry turns the corner, enters the street, it's a contest, you know. Kids are trained. Whoever
Yeah.
runs first.
And all that made a lot of things, easy for us when we moved, right? Because the other day I was standing down in the lobby and I heard this white girl calling the building. One, because there was no doorman there for her to complain. So she was calling the building team, and I'm not even exaggerating. She was like, "Oh my God, can you believe it? 8:15 to 8:25 a.m. I was trying to get the hot water. There was no hot water." And like for 10 minutes, and she was making a big scene about it. I'm like, bitch, you're getting water. Just go. Just wait. Like, don't have bath from 8:15 to 8:25. But I mean, they
Wow.
used to like so much comfort here, and I'm like, you guys won't make it beyond one day in India. Like, there's no way.
True.
And you remember power cuts?
Oh man.
Like, whenever we had power cut, my mom and her sister-in-law, they'll go upstairs in the terrace, they'll sit, they'll spend time. I'll go sit with my cousin, we'll all be talking. For us, oh yeah, just 2 hour power cut. And every time we'll call those guys and ask them when it's going to come back. And here, like, for 5 minutes power cut, and that's it. They are flooding Facebook, Instagram. Oh, I don't have power. Oh my God, I'm dying. I'm dying. It's so hot. It's so cold. I'm like, fuck.
I,
Did you have power cuts in your neighborhood growing up in India?
of
Of
course,
course,
man,
right?
of
Yeah.
course. And there used to be those specific times, like between 8 and 10 in the morning, you would have power. So that's when the water pump, the motor will run, so all the water can get into the tank, and you finish up all the activities that require electricity quickly with that 1 hour,
Exactly.
2 hour window period, and then you're ready for that 6 hours of no electricity through the day.
So you're running your schedule based on the electricity board when the water will come, right? And if you miss that,
Absolutely.
because and it was all fun, right? I don't know what you used to do when during power cuts, but for us it was like catching up with everyone and just enjoying the breeze, whatever little breeze we used to get back in Chennai.
And the fan, you have that hand fan,
Ah, yeah,
right? You'll have like an uncle or a grandmother wanting to take a nap, and then the young grandson or grandchild will be the one, that's an
yep,
act of
yep,
love.
doing that, and then you're
They'll be like,
be swatting all the
then you go
flies.
from, you're like, aunt will be like, go to grandfather. Okay, 10 minutes for grandfather here. You're like just fanning as they go to sleep or whatever. They're just happy the grandson is showing love.
I
And then
know.
after 10 minutes, they're like, no, it's fine, it's fine. I'm good, I'm good. They're sweating. They're like, I'm fine, I'm fine. You go and take care of aunt. I feel like we can take it in our stride. We don't complain as much. It's like just a little bit of shock or surprise initially, and then we apply perspective. We're like, hey, let's put this in perspective, and you just let it slide.
Yeah, we are like, okay, we understand where the racism is coming from. It's okay. Just
But
keep it as like. But I also feel like we came at a stage where we have been lucky enough not to experience that much of racism because I know some of my friends, black comedians, black friends, brown comedians. Oh my God, they have experienced a lot, and it's sad to hear all that, right?
mm-hmm.
Because they've been deprived of opportunities, and I feel like if you keep facing it growing up, it can mess with your confidence. I feel like we have grown up, we're now confident, right? We can just be like, yeah, whatever, and just brush it off. But in fact, you won't believe, in the whole Black Lives Matter was happening, one of my colleagues I was working with, her husband, you won't believe, this happened in Chicago, like probably 10 miles north of Chicago. So they live in a neighborhood where it's filled with white people. Okay. So this guy, his wife is my colleague, and they have a kid who's like 4 or 5 years. And both of them are from UK, and both of them obviously are black. So the kid is also black. Usually the lady goes and drops off the kid in the
The
daycare.
crush.
Yeah,
Yeah.
creche or daycare, whatever. So this one day she was busy with work. So this guy went to drop off the kid. So he parked his car, he got out, and then there was a lady who started yelling at him. He's like, "This is what you people always do. You can't park the car here. This car is only for the daycare." She started yelling at him. Yeah, this is like, go park somewhere else. You people always do this. And he didn't say a word. Maybe he was caught off guard and he didn't want to make a scene. He said, "Hey, my kid goes to daycare here." And then she was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I've never seen a black kid here before." I'm like, that's not an excuse for you to yell at someone like that. I'm like, so
Exactly.
if you see a black kid, then you're like, okay, no, one black kid can come here, it's allowed. But more than that, no. Whether you have kids coming here or not, you can't just go at a black person and scream. And she was banging on the car.
Wow.
See, for me, nothing has happened like that. So I've been lucky, right? Maybe it'll happen, but something like that can actually fuck with you, right? It can make you really angry.
We have it both good and bad in the sense that we've lived in a country where everybody around us looked the same like us. So we didn't have to identify ourselves by our skin color in India, right?
Yep.
But when you leave, suddenly the color of your skin becomes part of your primary identity, right? So when
Exactly.
you
Yep.
talk about things or view the world, you see it as a brown guy. That never even crossed your mind in India.
So true. Yeah. Because in India, obviously, all of us look the same.
Yeah,
And India can be brutal too, because obviously we are Indians, we are brown, and I feel like in
yeah,
India it was more casteism than anything. And I don't know whether fortunately or unfortunately, I'm from the forward caste, right?
very
And
fortunate.
very fortunate, and I didn't know that. I didn't know I was very fortunate. And I don't blame my parents. They were teaching, not teaching me casteism, but teaching me more rituals
How
about,
to
what is it to be Brahmin and what is to be this. You're supposed to do that. But now, after like moving out of India, I'm like, oh my god.
wash your hands after you touch your friend. The usual
No.
hygiene, just basic hygiene, right?
Basic hygiene, right? And that was that they used to do only when I used to meet you. But others, I was always hanging out with forward caste people, right? You I didn't know. Like that's why I always tell people here in the US, like casteism and racism are very similar, oppressing other people, but casteism is not lazy like racism. Casteism is way more work. I need to find out all about Deepu and then find out that he's from a lower caste and then stop liking him, right? It's way more work. And
Yeah,
now I realize that, oh my God, casteism is the worst thing, right? Now obviously I don't believe in God, I don't believe in religion, caste, and all that, but I mean, growing up, and I know you grew up in a school where you were exposed to different people from different caste, probably different states as well. But my school very limited, very very limited, and I feel like I could have done a lot of things different that time, right? So,
yeah.
but without me knowing, there were certain things I was doing which could have been viewed, very casteist, and I'm sure I've done a lot of casteist things as well, which is now I'm like fuck.
More than the whole like experiencing racism now, which we can put up with or ignore. You know what I really can't stand? Other Indians, man, and how racist and judgmental they are. I think that's way worse than
Prejudiced. Yeah,
white
we can't
people.
be racist. Prejudiced. Yeah.
Yeah,
Here, you mean like when they move out of?
exactly. I feel like somehow the Indians who move out of India, especially like first, second generation, third generation, they're like the worst of the worst. They always have to prove that they fit in and they're cool. And the way they do it is by constantly telling people that they're not like their parents or like their grandparents, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
So there's always this, oh, I have this dumb Asian mom. Oh, I have this stupid Asian dad, whether it's Indian or Vietnamese or Bangladeshi, whatever, right? They have to present their parents as this dumb immigrant. Sometimes even Eastern European. Oh, my mom is like this dumb Russian Jew. And then they have to do like a exaggerated accent about how they can't speak English. And by definition, they say something stupid. That's their way of fitting into the American life and culture. Whereas for
yeah.
us, we grew up in India and that's our life. There's no pressure for us to disown our parents to feel like we are cool and we need to belong.
No, I mean I had a lot of reasons to disown my parents, but continue.
No, you don't have to constantly like
I hear you.
portray
Yeah,
them as this dumb immigrant narrative. I feel
I
like
hear
a
you.
lot of the cool people still do that. It's just my parents who are like into arranged marriage and casteism and like extremely religious.
I
I'm like,
hear
no,
you.
if
Like
your parents, yeah, go on, go on.
no, no. I mean, I can hear you because a good example is like I've seen some shows where like which were based on true events. Like when the Indian kids like they overcompensate when they have their white friends come over. They'll apologize for the place smelling like Indian food. Like if the mom comes out wearing a sari or an Indian cloth or whatever kurta or whatever, they apologize.
That's
Oh,
something
this
I
is so
hate.
uncool.
Calling anything to do with like brown, anything to do with like people of color, they say ethnic. Whereas ethnic or ethnicity relates to anybody who's from a certain group. It's not necessarily people of color. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like white people
correct.
can also be ethnic because that's part of their own ethnicity, whichever country or part of the world they're coming from. But somehow ethnic is black/brown
True, true.
and
Actually,
white
there is a
is
huge
like, oh,
difference
we're
between race
normal.
and
Yeah.
ethnicity. Race is biological, ethnicity is not.
Language, culture,
Correct.
region.
Group.
So, but they always put the word ethnic and exotic to somehow represent black or brown. Ooh, let's have an exotic fruit. It's exotic to you, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Anyway, thank you for coming to my TED talk.
No, 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 okay. So coming back to casteism, where you were the perpetrator.
No, okay, I'll give you a quick example. The guy who delivers gas is coming home. Okay, you know the huge gas cylinder.
Yeah.
So they're a guy who comes and delivers gas cylinders, right? Once a month or once 2 months.
Like the guy who's really thin but with muscles like ripped and six pack and all that. I know.
Dark navy blue uniform. His whole
Or the
shoulder
khaki
is like,
uniform.
exactly, the whole shoulder like part is like red with that, I don't know, rust or dust or like cylinder after cylinder is being placed here. So this is the typical number that he pulls, right? He puts the gas cylinder down, and then you have to like figure out if he's nice enough to bring it into the kitchen, or you have to roll it into the kitchen. But when you're going to pay him, he'll just do this big thing about, it's so hot. Can I have some water? So they have to ask for water. So what do you serve? What utensil do you use to give
Oh
them water?
fuck.
Okay. Now let's say your classmate from Vidya Mandir comes in and says,
Yeah, Mandir is my
I want,
school, by the way.
and then asks for a glass of water. I don't want to get into specifics, but it's definitely going to be very different from what you serve to the guy who delivers gas, right?
I hear you. Yeah,
You know
that's
what's the more fucked up part? You know what the more fucked up part is? Let's say you got a nice glass that you're like, I'm gonna set casteism right, and you're gonna serve cold water to that gas delivery guy. He's like, whoa, what the fuck are you doing? Giving me water in this
exactly.
shit.
That's the worst part. I think you rightly said that's the worst part because they believe that they don't deserve it. That's oh my god, that's the worst.
It's so ingrained. Even they feel like out of character to like go along with your like whole move. Even practically, right? Like you take a glass of water, the guy is not going to sip it.
Yeah,
What
even
do
I
they
don't
do?
sip my water here.
They tilt and they drink, right? But when you serve for friends, you serve it in a glass which doesn't have that curve on the edge. This
It
is what
depends on the
happens.
friends
Like,
also, like if they're forward cast or not.
but sometimes this is what happens. You try to like do a knee-jerk reaction of setting it for 4,000 years of history, 2,000 years of history, right? By giving him like a nice glass, that guy is hopelessly trying to like drink that water without sipping, and he's pouring it all over himself. It's a mess, right?
Yeah, and for people who are listening, by the way, that the what happens is in like in these forward cast house, not only forward cast, I feel like in a lot of the houses they have
It's all
different type.
relative, dude. It's
Yeah,
all relative.
it's all relative. Like
It's
it's
all
even based
relative.
on socio-economic status. They'll have different utensils. Like for people at home and the people who they move with, there'll be one type of utensils.
Leftover lunch or dinner, someone will eat, but she has a separate plate.
Exactly.
Yeah, just
Yep.
like Jimmy the dog, right? But hey, because we love both of them, right? All right.
What Deepu was saying is like giving a different utensil when the person who's coming to work at their house and obviously he is not the same level as him, so they were that's how you can discriminate. Not that he did it, but that's just an example. And you forgot to mention the utensil will be different and they won't get the filtered aquaguard water. They will get the tap water.
Oh, dude.
Right, it has different levels to it.
Man
No,
was
no,
man versus wild. It's like
exactly.
this
No,
tap
no.
is corporation water, this tap is you're on your own, buddy.
Correct.
And
And
they're like,
and and the best part is they'll be like, no, this water won't do anything for them. I'm like, woo.
and then you realize after coming out, it's like time and distance gives you a bit of perspective, right? Quite honestly, if both of us were still living in India, maybe some things we would realize, but some things we would just get on with. You're too
True,
close
true.
to it to see the larger picture or whatever it is. So
Yep. No, I think that really helped moving out of India and getting different exposure and be like, what the fuck are we doing these kind of things back there? And it was horrible.
yeah.
That way,
Anytime
my
somebody is racist to you, anytime somebody is racist to me in Europe, I just close my eyes and think of India. Instantly, I feel better. I'm like, it doesn't compare at all.
in fact, that way, like even though I make a lot of fun about my dad, he was very forward thinking and all that.
He used
We had a
to
drive.
once a month he used to set a slave free.
Slave free. Like once we had a driver who was like a temporary driver, and once we had to like we wanted him to eat at home, so my dad made him sit in the dining table and eat, right? And I don't think that's ever done in any other houses, at least I grew up with. And I was amazed to see that. I mean, that way my dad was really good. Like
Yeah.
there's certain, yeah, and obviously
But that only happens after the family is eaten and maybe after the women have eaten.
no, no. I mean, yeah.
No?
I know what you're getting at, but I mean, we all ate anyway before that. It was like 2 hours before he came to work late. But my dad made
Yeah.
him. So my dad is pretty good in all that. In fact, my mom had a fight with him about the whole thing, but there's a different story. I don't want to throw my mom under the bus. But certain things I picked up from my dad that it's okay, and that's why, right? Whenever I go back to the US, I hate it when people will buy different chocolates, and the expensive one will be for family relatives, and the least expensive one, I mean, least expensive, those big ones which you can get in Walmart will be for the servants, housekeepers. I'm like, what is wrong with you? They are the people who don't have access to the good quality ones, and they'll be like, no, 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 no. They don't know all this. They like quantity. So we'll give them 100 shitty chocolate, then giving two awesome chocolates. I'm like, what the fuck?
I don't know, man. I don't know about that.
What do you mean you don't know? There is no differing views on this.
No, in the sense, a lot of people do that. It's like close friends. Like, let's say you're giving out gifts for Christmas, right? So maybe your close friends or family members, you put a certain amount of value into that gift. But maybe you have like 15 colleagues at work, and you just want to give something that's like a token of gratitude. So there's like a slightly watered down version of that, right? So I
No,
think
that is
there's
fine. There you're buying a gift based on the value, right? Like, I know
yeah,
this
yeah.
person really well, but here the criteria is different. Like, okay, they're servants, so this is all they should get. So whenever I go back, I'm always getting the best stuff for them because they are the ones who don't have access to all this, right? I mean, to be
There's another. Sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
Now there's this whole benevolent master thing that plays out in India. Like, so there's no such thing as minimum wage. There's no such thing as healthcare benefits, vacation days, time off. No, there's no concept of that, right? Just one day, the servant lady calls and says she can't come, mom, or somebody has to go on a rant about how they are so careless and they just don't want to work and they're lazy and this and that. But during Diwali or like school admission times, you buy some books for the kid, or you sponsor one semester's fee, or you give some clothes. So you feel like, oh, I'm a benevolent master. Look at me, I'm so kind and giving, right? So it's not a given. 2 weeks of vacation every year, time off from work. It's not a given. But as and when you feel like you want to be generous, you throw that way. Everybody's happy. They're like, look at me, I'm
It's
so kind. And
yeah, it's more to feel good about yourself than being nice and considerate the whole time, right? And I feel like it'll take a long time in India for all these fucked up things to change. Casteism is big, and another thing in big in my house was religion. Like, oh,
mhm.
Muslims are like this, Christians are like that. I'm like, fuck.
Oh shit. Thankfully, that didn't happen in my house. My dad was an atheist. My mom was religious, but not like religious. It was just like maybe 2 or 3 times a year when there's a festival like Pongal or Deepavali,
Yeah, in fact,
they
I
light the
wish like I
lamps.
learned more about all the other different festivities in other religion as well, like in Muslim.
It's not too late, dude. Go out there, date a Jewish girl, date a Muslim.
I had, I think, one Muslim in my class and three or four Christians, and just two or three people who were not from my state. At least your school was a bit more. I think it had more
More diverse, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
diverse, right? Yeah.
It was still a posh school, or that was the image.
Mm.
But we did have a lot more diversity. But
I call your
yeah,
school zoo because they have like
yeah.
some million sections. When I say section, I mean like in ninth grade they'll have section A, section B. Each section will
Yeah,
have
yeah,
some
yeah.
100 students.
Dude, it got to a point where the entire alphabet was like they ran through till Z, and then it become section A, B.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
Was Chettina that big? I've never been inside that school.
huge
Huge, huh?
campus, man. Yeah, that's one of
Nice.
the things that really let's say it was like a proper school, I used to feel so bad when like go past other schools. It's just like one apartment building with like a fake half playground in the front. It was so horrible. Whereas Chetna is like we even had an island inside the school. Do you know that?
Fuck.
Like a literal island with like it's like a moat kind of pond thing. And in the center there used to be like a dance studio kind of open air
Wow.
thing.
And
Where,
none of the kids drowned in that pond or something, no?
no, it's like super shallow, like
Oh,
just
so
ducks going around. So you can cross that. So the island is where you do dance practice,
wow.
and you have like open air, like this Bharatanatyam dance, basketball courts, tennis courts, pony riding, obviously
Wow.
swimming pool, and like a
So,
big
and who
playground.
runs Chettinad actually? I always wanted to know. Is it run by like a huge trust or like
No,
individuals? Or
it's the royal family of Chettinad. So
again, Chettinad is a
it's
caste, right?
place.
Yeah, place. But I'm saying that like
Yeah.
group of people who identify themselves as
Yes.
what
Chettiars.
Chettiars. Yeah, Chettiars. Yeah.
the merchant class. So yeah, it's
Merchant
basically
class,
run
yeah.
by the royal family of Chettinad. So it's on their land. So you can think of
Nice.
it like, say, the Duke of Cambridge runs his own school and Kensington Palace,
Mm,
Kensington Garden or something.
I got it. Yeah.
That's the version in Chennai. So it was so good.
Yeah. My school was exactly what you said, one building apartment. And then it is used to have a volleyball court, throw ball court, and then we got a basketball court when I was finishing school. So if we need a bigger playground, if
What
we
about
need a place.
assembly? Where
Oh,
would the
assembly we
assembly?
used to have this closed thing. So used to that was a little slightly far away, but there was a closed
But there was
thing.
space for literally every student in the school to assemble together in one spot, right?
Yeah,
And it used to happen every day, right?
every day in the morning for us we have to pray.
Exactly. See, that's the sense of community. I feel like it's a cultural thing. Like that's a special occasion in a lot of other countries. They don't do it every day. Like assembling together at the start of the day and then getting started. We took it for granted, right? In a lot of other countries, a lot of other schools, they have to have like a visiting senator coming or like some
Oh
public
god, yeah,
servant,
yeah.
and then once in 3 months they'll go to the gymnasium or basketball court, and it's a very special thing. I feel like it's like they missed out on a good part of childhood, you know,
Yeah, and I
like
feel like
having
it's a lot to do with the culture and the religion as well, right? Whether it was Christianity or Hinduism or whatever, they always believe that the day should start with the prayers, all of us come together, positive energy. But yeah, you're
yeah,
right. I
yeah.
don't think it happens here. I don't know if it
It's
happens here.
that's something I feel like it's very special, and every Indian child is gifted to have gone through that sense of community and like just that oneness right through childhood. It's a given every day. First thing, you're in a huge group with everybody from school across
True, true.
classes, and
And
that's how
then
you start your day. You know,
yeah, and your shoes have to be polished, otherwise someone's picking you out and saying that
all of those things,
yeah.
all the good stuff to distract